I think a lot of people out there need a reality check, and I'm referring to a lot of new sellers in the Pokemon market today. Let's give you of a more realistic expectation of what to really expect when you want to start out selling Pokemon cards in this hobby. Although Pokemon cards are very hot right now, as you all know, selling the stuff that just came out is the easiest form. That's flipping, right? Everybody's just grabbing the newest stuff off the shelf. You know it's the highest demand. You take it, you snag it, you flip it, right? Everyone hates those people. But that is the easiest form of selling in this Pokemon market. Now let's get into selling things like regular Pokemon cards, Japanese booster boxes, singles, slabs, things like that. It is a very complex world and the demand is everywhere. Unlike the newest sealed product that everyone's after, that is just, that's easy. That's the easiest thing you could possibly do. But also, it's the hardest because you can't get your hands on this stuff. Okay, people are paying $500 to $700 or more for paying for bots. They are paying monthly fees of $500 to $700 just to get this stuff. So you're not going to compete with somebody that's willing to pay that type of money just to have a software in order to get the newest product. So with that being said, I know you're not going to do that, right? What's your next move? What's your next step? I think a lot of people have a very altered view on selling Pokemon cards. They see a lot of people successfully doing it and they think that they could just do it right from the start. And it just doesn't work that way. Stop thinking that certain forms of selling are bad investments. For example, I would never deal with, I'm not going to say never, but my vision and what I want to do is far different than people that are selling on TCG Player bulk cards. There's huge opportunity and huge gains that you can make selling bulk cards. You can grab stuff for next to nothing, list it on TCG Player, learn all the playable cards, things that are hot in decks, things that are actually worth a few bucks, and it just looks like a 2 5 cent card. It looks like nothing. So there's huge opportunity there. Are you going to make fun of or poke, being like, oh, you sell trash? In the end, they're actually making around 700% profit, like just from selling bulk. You need to start thinking differently as a seller. If you think that that is a terrible strategy, then I don't know, like getting 700% to 500% gains back. Yes, it's a lot of work. Yeah, there's a lot of fees involved when it comes down to shipping and stuff that cut your margins down by more than that. But in the end, I'm not selling bulk cards, but I'm not going to shit on someone's hustle because they're winning. They're winning at the end. And if you just start selling off your collection out of nowhere, you're going to have a difficult time. It's a very competitive field right now. You are starting from level 1. You're at the bottom of the totem pole at the algorithm. The algorithm has no love for you. So when you start posting things versus somebody that's been posting for years on eBay or any platform, it doesn't matter. When it comes down to selling your items on platforms, there is a consistent grind and hustle to it. You can't just post stuff one day and then come back a week later and then post something else. You have to be very consistent in order for the algorithm to favor you. For eBay and then for even Whatnot, the more you stream, the more hours you put in, the higher you're favored by Whatnot and your shows get pushed. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. So if you think that you're just going to be on the same playing field as everyone else, that's just not reality. And it's going to be far more difficult for you to move things fast. So money flow is going to be very difficult for you starting out. You're going to be like, how am I not selling this stuff? I got it priced right, right? It's not just that. There's just so much more that goes into this. The reality is you're new to a job. This is a new job for you. If you just randomly want to start selling, guess what? You just entered a new field. If I pulled a millionaire that is super successful about managing people, managing money, CEO, if I took that person that is just doing their day-to-day job, and I put them into lunch rush at Chick-fil-A and I told them to get behind the register, they just get a general idea how things work, they would be extremely overwhelmed. They wouldn't know how to do it. And these are one of the most successful people, and you could just throw them into like a regular 9 to 5 job and they would struggle because they're not used to it. It's a whole new thing. You know what I mean? So that's just the reality of it. You're new to this Pokemon selling or TCG card selling world, and you're starting at the bottom of the totem pole. And if you're not okay with that, then I don't know, tough titty, right? But that's the reality of it. And a lot of you need a reality check. It's not easy to sell cards. It is super easy to buy them. Buying is easy as hell, right? But now, once you start getting into the selling realm and you realize that most collectors kind of have the same inventory you have, this is a patient game. This is super patient. If you're thinking that it's just going to be right overnight and you're just going to start making sales, I think you got another thing coming, my friend. Selling Pokemon cards is not as easy as you may believe. And here's another thing for everybody. I love Japanese product. I don't know if you could tell. I get them shipped directly from Japan. And I know some people say that the turnover rate and, oh, what's the demand compared to English? English is 100% higher in demand. There's no denying that, okay? It is much easier to sell English than it is Japanese boxes. That's the reality of it. But also, like I said, there's people that sell bulk cards and get 700%. So whatever field you jump in, you have to understand that you're on the bottom of that totem pole and it's not just going to fly off the shelves. Okay, there's people that are literally out there that's been doing this for a long time that are on top of that food chain that are just having massive turnover rates. At turnover rates you can't even imagine. They can't even keep this stuff on the shelves. So for you to assume that someone's business strategy is not working because it's not working for you at the moment is silly, and it just shows the inexperience level, okay? And all I'm trying to say is you need to earn experience points. You need to level up. You need to grind through this game. You're fighting against gym leaders right now. I'm a gym leader, right? I'm not a top one. I'm probably like a trash one, right? I'm not a good gym leader. You could definitely beat me, but I'm working hard, okay? I've been doing this for 5 years already, buying, selling, and trading cards. I've been collecting for 10 years. I'm much ahead of most of the people that are in this hobby. And for those that just look from the outside and say, that guy's doing it, I could do it too. 100% you can. But if you think you can do it overnight, you got another thing coming, bucko. You know what I mean? So it's not going to happen. You need time, consistency, grinding. And I'm still a fucking guppy in this world compared to like us, these other big dogs, right? But you know what? I'm going to keep grinding. I'm going to keep doing giveaways for us to grow. There's just so much like growth that I can't wait for. So I'm not going to be the dead horse. You know what I'm trying to get at? It is possible, but with patience and time and a lot of effort, I promise you, you could start moving up that food chain and start making sales faster, bigger, and better. Okay? But until then, you're not going to be just swimming in cash as soon as you want to start selling your Pokemon cards. That's not going to be your reality. Okay? If it is, guess what? You're like a 1%er, right? You hit a home run. And that does happen. And I got a funny story about hitting home runs and it being lucky versus creating your own opportunity. I think a lot of people underestimate what effort can actually bring into your life. So, with that being said, just going to leave it at that. And keep on keeping on. Thanks for watching.